Let's go Black Jacket.
I'm kind of new to the internet blog thing, thanks to my buddy Dr. Cancer here. I watch a lot of Nostalgia Critic now. And I'm just kind of curious, have you ever, with some of your reviews, for example, the one with Judge Dredd, one of my personal favorites, you got kind of raw on that one. Have you ever been contacted by the subjects of any of your reviews? Don't know. Have you been contacted by the subjects of any of your reviews, or if not, do you think that what you do actually has an impact on the genre? I mean, you think that Hollywood, someone out there actually watches what you do and takes into effect your reviews?
I mean, Tommy was so does. But, oh, hi. Oh, hi. No, I've gotten a few comments. Actually, that's like semi how the Animaniacs trivia got started. Is that someone who was a big fan of the site, said, hey, this, I know Todd Ruger pretty well, and he's a big fan of the Nostalgia Critic Naughty's Animaniac moments. You want to talk to him? Maybe you can set up something. Like, yeah, sure, produce it. And sure enough, I get an email, and he's like, I love your stuff, it's great. I'm still friends with Sherry Stoner and Paul Rugg and stuff. You want to do something? I'm like, yeah, okay. And I think the coolest thing was to hear that, I guess, like, Sherry Stoner's son, like, loves my stuff. That's the son of Slappy Squirrel. he loves my stuff. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, every once in a while you do get, I think, like, the guy who created Gargoyles, he saw the review and liked it. The biggest one was Roger Ebert actually putting on his Twitter, like, a link to the Siskel and Ebert tribute saying, like, this video is awesome. It's like, that's a thumbs up, like the world's most famous critic. That's great. But yeah, in terms of is it having an effect on the genre, I don't know. I mean, my guess would be no. I mean, if I was watching, I'd be like no. But you never know.
Not very often, but sometimes I will be contacted, not like directly contacted, but I'll hear about someone tangentially related to the review in some way. For example, the cover artist to Nightcat, he actually saw my review, thought it was hilarious. It probably helped that I didn't make fun of that cover, other than asking who the cats were, and it turns out they were his cats. Yeah, I've heard like an inker or a minor colorist or something like that will sometimes say, "Yeah, this was really funny," but not a lot of time any of the actual direct creators. And I would hope that I'm having some sort of impact on the comic industry. I'm probably not. I would hope so, though, because eventually that's what we all hope for. Though, here's a bit of irony for you. You guys remember the JLA Active God review?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, at the same, just when I had finished releasing like either the first, second, or third part, I can't remember which one, there was an issue of Justice Society of America, which had a villain group of Fourth Reich Nazis like take away all the superpowers of the world. And it was like it was like how this concept is done right. Like Superman is like falling with a criminal who's lost his powers, and he's like, okay, you've got to stay calm, we can survive this, and like they roll with it, and like emergency workers are like immediately helping him. Okay, Superman needs help, let's help him right now. Aquaman immediately is worried about his people. It's like every single thing that was done wrong in JLA Active God was done right in this one Justice Society story, and I was like, and I just kind of hope that maybe that they saw that and they were like, yeah, I gotta do this right. One can only hope. Far back there, black shirt.
How do you like grab new talent for a site, like you said, like especially Todd in the Shadows, as I'm a huge fan of his reviews.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
As of now, I mean, I have to admit we're very filled up. Yeah. I mean, unless it's someone that's like spectacular, we usually don't bring them on. But it's hard to say. It's just something that's like, does this person look like they have sort of a unique voice, but can continue to turn out a lot of good stuff on, at the very least a monthly basis. Some people do go on sabbatical, like they've done a lot of hard work. It's like, that's fine, to take some time out. They got lives to live too. Yeah, I think just sort of a unique voice, but also in the crowd that, enjoys our stuff as well. So it's hard to say. Just, we like it, we get it. pretty much. So, yeah, Richard.
Me?
Yeah.
I've actually been doing internet videos for about a year or so now, and you two and Yahtzee and James Rolfe are pretty much the influencers for that, but I do movies, comic books, I do a lot of different stuff. I was just wondering, especially you, Linkara, you seem just really focused on two things with History of Power Rangers, and Doug, you seem to focus mostly on, really on the microphone, really bad movies and whatnot. I was just wondering, would finding a more narrow focus help, or does that help you, or?
It's a good question. I mean, keep in mind, I don't just do Nostalgia Greg, it's the most popular, so I guess that helps. Spoonie obviously does all sorts of things. If you do decide to do all sorts of various I don't know, art forms and stuff like that, I would say just be sure to keep like a consistent voice, or if you have a character or a couple characters, again, just be sure there's a lot of them, that they're very consistent, so that people can look it up. I mean, it might be tougher, but it's not like it can't be done. Like I said, Spoonie's done very, very well with it, and I'm sure other reviewers have too. So.
Yeah, I'd say it helps focus for you, because then you have some consistency and you can compare some stuff to, and you don't have to like go all over the place. Though it's hard to say, because like you said, Spoonie does video games, board games, the one board game. Well, I think two with Dragon Strike. He does riffing, he does TV shows, movies. It's really tough, but I would usually recommend focusing in on a genre, on a medium or a genre or a niche. Just at least to start out with, so you have some focus in what you want to talk about.
It does help give you more of a voice if you pick one to focus on.
Mine now. You and the Ghostbusters have it.
Do you ever, is it hard? Do you find it easier to do reviews on bad things or really great pieces of work? Would you ever break
bad stuff? Let me tell you something. I get requests all the time to talk about good stuff. I hate talking about good stuff because I find it boring. It's boring for me to have to make a review on something good, because basically it's just me saying, "This is awesome" for 15 minutes or so. That's not to say I won't probably do it sometime, or I'll have an experiment like I did with Secret Origins Month or X-Men #1, where I'm just curious because of their status. But it's a lot easier to make fun of something bad, and a lot more fun to make fun of something bad than it is to do for something good. But sometimes we'll make exceptions. I did the Blue Beetle tribute too.
Yeah, I mean, all comedy sort of comes from misery, so naturally the worse something is, the more funny it's going to be. But there are times, I mean, like something that I will like I like Gargoyles, I like Hook, but there's a lot to make fun of. There's a lot of things you can have fun with. So, yeah, or when I do like a top 11 in terms of something good, like the top 11 best, yada, yada, yada. People seem to like that simply because they like the subject matter.
Another recommendation, people like lists.
Yes.
I have no idea why, but they love lists. Lists will frequently be probably the most viewed things among our videos. We don't know why. I think it's because it's just something quick and easy for them. But everybody can just agree or disagree on something. But here.
Yeah, I think people like to compare and contrast, I'm the same way. Whenever I think I saw on E one time, the top 100 SNL moments, and it's just well, okay, I gotta know what's number one. And number one was something like Wayne's World meets Aerosmith. I'm just okay, that was cool, but that's not number one. That's, come on. But it's I had fun getting there. I like seeing what do they think, what do I think, and I think people, and the same reason why people like American Idol and stuff like that, they like to compare and contrast their opinion with, your own opinion, pretty much. So I think that's why lists are very popular. Anything where people can compare and contrast, I think they really seem to enjoy. Yeah.
There's something else I'm curious about. How much time is there between when you complete production of a video and when it's finally uploaded?
I think it's different for both of them. With everything like the bum reviews and the Ask That Guys and stuff, I mean, literally it's takes a few minutes to set up, then maybe hour to film, hour to import, hour to edit. So I mean, literally the day that Ask That Guy is going to go I usually film it that day. With a Nostalgia Critic, it's much more planned out. It's like a day to watch the thing and take notes, a day to write it out into a script, a day to film it, a day to start editing it, then a day to put the actual film in there and then touch it up. And I give myself a leeway of 1 day just in case I needed to, to edit more in case something happens. So with Nostalgia Critic, about a week. Everything else, and there are a lot of times where it's like literally right before it goes up, like I'm finishing it. So in fact, it's very, very often.
Yeah, it really varies a bit depending on what it is. If it's something nice and easy, the Secret Origins videos have actually been pretty quick in terms of turnover after I've finished filming and started editing. But a lot of the time, I'll be working to try to get it done like the Sunday night before before that day is supposed to come out, because I release them on my blog first at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. History of Power Rangers is trickier because I have to watch the entire series and get it out. But usually I try to get to work on it like as soon as I'm done recording, and it takes about a day or two to fully edit it all together. And I think we have time for one more question. Oh, you've been patient. Let's go with you.
What's the worst routine you've done such as bowling, aggravating,
Yeah, now you mean like the movie or the actual like review, like after it's put together, like I'm not proud of that review, or what's the worst movie? Like what's the most nightmare review?
Yeah.
God, that's hard to say. I mean, I guess, I don't want to say Junior, because there was sort of fun with that dream sequence, but that was certainly the hardest one to come up with stuff. I don't know, you answer first.
I gotta think of it too. There was, I think it might have been, not necessarily Bimbo's in Time, but I did film it like during Thanksgiving, like right after we were done with like eating and stuff. I had to film it because I knew it's Thursday night, I have to film this. I have to film it and get it done because otherwise there's no time to do it. The scripting process can be really challenging sometimes if the thing that you're doing does not give you a lot of material to work with. It's hard to make funny, hard to make entertaining otherwise. And I haven't really had a big nightmare review. Probably either the Countdown or Amazon's Attack Prologue videos. Because with those ones, it's harder to define material to put into the actual video. Because, I hate to say it, but in the times that I've done movie or game reviews, it's easier for me to edit those together because it's just footage, and sometimes and while a lot of the time I'll try to make it match with what I'm saying, other times I can just have anything on the screen and it'll be fine, and I can just go along and edit the audio. When it's a comic review, I have to make sure everything matches up perfectly to what is being said on screen, otherwise I'm zooming in on someone's face when someone else is talking. That kind of deal.
It's hard to say what the worst one is, but I can tell you one that recently really annoyed me, actually, surprisingly enough, was the Prince of Egypt 10 Commandments one, because the 10 Commandments is just so long that when I need a clip, it's like, usually movies like an hour and a half, 2 hours or something like that, and you can just sort of, you have like on a timeline, you just sort of stretch it, oh, there's the clip, and put it here. With, Prince of Egypt, which is like, whatever, hour and a half, and then 10 Commandments, which is like, what, 3.5 hours, something like that, so it's like, I get a clip from the beginning, I get a clip from the end, okay, let's go, here we go, now I need a clip from the beginning, So that was really, really tedious and annoying, that was an annoying one to do. Guys, we're going to do autographs in here. After that, we have another panel. It's a That Guy with the Glasses Q&A. And after that, we do more autographs. And, so there's definitely going to be a lot of us. You can see, I think, is it panel 2? Is where? 3. Okay, panel 3 is where our next Q&A is going to be. That's going to be in an hour. Right now, we're going to do autographs. Guys, thank you so much for coming out. Leave the autograph session here early to get something done with real quick, but I will hopefully be back for the panel, hopefully. We'll see. Yeah, there's a second autograph anyway. Also, I'm going to eat during the autograph session.